Thank you very much, Architect Dr. Kenge. That's a good contribution, I would say. I want to add my voice a little bit there before I come to my next guest here. You've spoken about tax. Tax in Benue is huge. And most of the times, it has scared people away. Government really needs to look at that, especially for potential investors that are coming. We have the story of Olam. Everybody in this house here must have heard about Olam running away from Benue State to Lafia or Nasarawa. We don't want that kind of a situation. If a company comes and is new, you give it a tax break of between 2 to 5 years. You may decide to say 2 to 3 years, or 2 to 4 years, or 2 to 5 years. That's the bracket. So that such a company will settle down and hold its ground. Once it begins to produce massively, then you can begin to raise your tax. But if you raise your tax just at the beginning, when the company comes in, it may not survive. Most of them will collapse. So that's one advice I want to give from what you spoke about tax. Okay, you want to? Okay, that's fine.
Okay, I just wanted to mention something about taxes. Taxes are matters of law. There are taxes that are collected by the federal government. And there are also taxes that are collected by the state and then the local government. Taxes are attached to rates usually. Now, like you said, the taxes that are associated with the federal government, you have no jurisdiction to waive or not to waive. It is cast in stone.
Absolutely.
Those taxes that are within the state government, the executive governor has the leeway to say, I want to waive. Okay, but those ones usually don't have direct, a lot of them don't have direct bearing with the biggest of them is pay as you earn, these taxes that that staff pay, right?
Yeah.
You probably can't waive that. All right. So usually when you hear these kinds of stories, there's more to it than just simply they run away because of high taxes. Benue taxes are not higher than any other place. I just want to correct that. Our rates are not higher than any other place.
Absolutely.
You may have a tax holiday, a waiver, but that is only on taxes that are payable to the state, right? And even at that, it's not in perpetuity. Today, the Benue State government is willing to offer even land, concessions of providing land for would-be investors. We are willing to give tax holidays for would-be investors.
Absolutely. We
are willing to give guarantees of security for would-be investors. We are willing to provide technical assistance for would-be investors. We are providing even things like accounting and economic support to would-be investors. Our IT infrastructure is open for would-be investors. Just come with your money. We are ready to do business. We are open to do business. If it's a holiday, we'll give it for taxes that we control. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much coming in with the issue of tax. Actually, taxation is something that goes on all over the world. Although when you move from one country or one state to the other, there is difference. The commissioner has just told us that within the Akiti now, they are making everything possible for potential investors to come in here with moderate taxes and land given to you free or with concession. So I think those are the good criteria of incentives that you can put together for investors to come in. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for waiting, Mr. Michael Oguche. You've been very patient. I wanted to give you a perspective too in terms of incentives, investment incentives that we can provide. And then what do you think the condition should be to ease business in Benue.
All right, thank you very much, our moderator. And thanks everyone for staying this far with us. Let me start by saying my commissioner has eaten most of the cake from the table of BIIES. And it's not surprising because he's the chairman of the SABER committee, which is who drives the ease of doing business and which BIIES is in the front of. But to dive straight to your question, I want to start from the beginning to creating the investment environment in Benue State. First, we need to understand why in 49 years we've not been able to put to bed in terms of completing any deal to, since like the background that you lay, since Apiako's time, there's nothing that's happened solidly. And why is that so? It's because of the very toxic investment environment that we have. The taxes that he spoke about are a reference point. Yes, I agree with the Honorable Commissioner because he's in a space to know, and I'm also in a space to know that it's not that Benue State charges more tax in comparative terms, but I'll go to where we have those issues. Number one, there's what's called the ease of doing business ranking, where the whole 36 states are ranked on the basis of how easy it is to come in and set up and start a business and make profit. Benue has been way, way down in that ranking over the years. And that speaks to why people won't come. So what is this government doing differently since BIIES came into being with the full support and driving power of the Commissioner of Finance and the Executive Governor to make BIIES come to be in August last year? What we've done, or what we've tried to do during this period, is to improve the ease of doing business perception of Benue State. Number one, we discovered, I said earlier on, it's not that we charge more in taxes, but we do multiple taxations. And multiple taxations mean unfair taxation. And if you charge people, if you tax people illegally, illegal taxes that he also alluded to, that is reminding me now, all of these things create a very toxic environment in terms of people willingly wanting to come to Benue State to do businesses. Let me give us a very classical example that speaks to our core competence as a state, the agrarian state. Now, there's a woman that buys trucks of oranges from Benue to Kano State. In terms of the cost of buying a truck of orange from here to Nasarawa State, the cost factor in terms of the illegal roadblocks that the Commissioner of Finance just alluded to now is better imagined. So most of the post-harvest wastages that we have is people would rather stay away than come to buy those things and run with them. Because what you're made to pay, sometimes it's at the gunpoint. I've traveled with the Commissioner and we've had to stop on the road to dismantle roadblocks, illegal roadblocks. But as soon as you leave there, they're coming back on. So it's a very huge one. Now, with the climate of insecurity, if you add that to this kettle of pot, you now better imagine what the consequence is in terms of attracting investors to the state. Let me speak to the taxation. When investors come, part of what we've tried to do, and the Commissioner alluded to it, is to give tax holidays. If you are a new investor, you're a greenfield investor, or you're coming to take over one of our moribund industries that the moderator talked about. Now, the tax holidays in terms of the number of years depends on how much in capital, in foreign direct investment you're bringing. That will determine the number of years you get. How many jobs are you creating with that? Also will determine the number of tax holidays that you also get. Then, how much land, if it's agrarian, if it's an agro-processing factory, for instance, if you're doing 10,000 or 20,000 or even like a 30,000 deal that we're about to sign, it all plays into the template to determine the kind of incentives that you get from the state. But yes, we have a retinue of incentives that we are given to investors to encourage them to come to the state that never existed before. But more importantly is the fact that before now, what has also stopped investors from coming to Benue State is we had all the MDAs that speak to investors operating in silos. So you want to come and do agro-investment in Benue State, the Ministry of Agric is dragging you to the left because it's agric. The Ministry of Land is driving you to the left because you have to do it on land. Of course, the Ministry of Trade and Investment, because you're coming to investment, they're also talking with you. So between all of those, we've had over 2,000 MOUs that never saw the light of day in the different governments to this government now. But I'm glad to tell you, in this less than 1 year, we've signed like 4 MOUs. One was signed yesterday with one of the exhibitors. Thank you very much. But we're also signing an agreement today, a groundbreaking agreement for a 30,000 agri-food city in Otukpo that is supposed to commence within 90 days after we sign today, hopefully. So it's a different trajectory that we're on now. And we're determined with the support of the Honorable Commissioner and our amiable governor that's created the agency to continue in that trajectory. I want to end by also going back to that ease of doing business thing in terms of the collaborations we're bringing between the ministries. So right now, we are an agency of government, but we're having, and we told the BIIES, I don't know if the chairman is here, we've been having fights with them. We're going to be having healthy fights with them because we do not believe as BENIPA that a business should be taxed until they are on their feet and start making profit. You should be taxing their profit. If not, you kill them. Because if you kill them, they won't be there for us to tax tomorrow. They won't be there to grow the state for us. So we believe we should nurture them and we should pluck in incentives from the state to feed those businesses until they become profitable so that you can not only tax them today, you can tax them tomorrow and sustainably.